Okay, well, hello there, welcome back. Long time no see, again. This time because we had renovations going on in the house. It's a very old house that we live in. It's over 40 years old, almost 50, I think. And all of the bathrooms are just falling apart. So we had to do something about it. Too much noise. My autistic self was freaking the fuck out with the amount of noise that was going on. So I was barely living at the time. Couldn't really make videos, could I? But anyway, you probably don't care about that. Today I'm here with the mid-year book Freakout tag. Yes, I'm very aware that we are way past the mid-year point of 2023, but I needed something like easy breezy for me to kind of get back into the groove of things. So that's what we have for today, which is also very good because I get to kind of update you on some of my most recent reads without having to do a recent reads video. You know, killing two birds with one stone. I'm also kind of trying something new in regards to the way I actually make the videos. I usually have kind of a script to go on. Now I'm more so trying to just get topics written so that I don't actually forget what I'm gonna say. I'm trying to let myself run a bit more free here. Let's see how that works, because I do tend to talk a lot and go off on tons of tangents, so fingers crossed that this whole thing is gonna work out. Before we get into the video, I'm just here to remind you to leave a comment and like and subscribe if you feel like it. If not, that's totally fine, but it really does help with the channel. So if you can do it, I would really appreciate it. And you know, I actually made this channel because I wanted to engage with people who read books and wanted to talk about them, because I don't have, well, at the time I didn't have many people in my life who are readers. So, you know, I really do miss this conversational part of having a channel about books. So please leave a comment, you know, about the books that I talk about, or maybe recommend me a new book. Who knows? Anyway, let's get into it. My goal for 2023 was to read 15 books, and I did accomplish that, and I did pass it too. I read 36 books so far in 2023, which I'm aware that by booktube standards, that's like nothing, but I did it. I read 36 books. I've rambled on for too long. Let's get into the tag. The first question is, what is the best book that you've read so far this year? I've been very lucky this year. I've read tons of good books. There was only like a couple of books that I didn't like. So the answer to this question was particularly hard to get. I've come down to 3 books and I'm just gonna go with that. I'm not gonna narrow it down to one because I can't make choices. So the first one is On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Wong. That almost didn't get out. This is just a very poetic book about a son who is, I believe he's gay. I'm not sure, but he's queer. He's some type of queer. It's about his relationship with his mum, and his mum is a Vietnamese immigrant, if I'm not mistaken. And it's about their relationship with each other and, you know, their family and his feelings towards his queerness and how that got into his relationship with his mother. It's very hard to kind of give you a plot summary because there's not really much plot going on, just, you know, lots of things happening in his life and how that affected his relationship with his mother and all that. When I got into it, for some reason, I thought that it was a memoir by Ocean Wong. That's not the case. It's not a memoir, it's a fiction book, but it really does read like a memoir, albeit a very poetic one. I loved it. I really fucking loved it. I cried. It's probably not a parameter for anything because I'm a huge baby. I cry a lot with books, but it was very good. Very fucking well written. Just the prose in it is absolutely gorgeous. And that's beautifully gorgeous. And obviously I gave it 5 out of 5 stars because, like, what the fuck? The second book is The Hacienda by Isabel Cañas. This is set in the aftermath of the Mexican War for Independence. We follow Beatriz, who has recently gotten married to this man whose latest wife died under very mysterious circumstances. But Beatriz really needs money and a house and just security in general. So she gets married to this man for the status and the money and all that. And she goes to live in one of his properties, a countryside estate called Hacienda San Isidro. She's very intent on making it her home and just bringing her mother over and just kind of making it feel like home, right? She's very optimistic about this, but very quickly she discovers that something is wrong with Hacienda San Isidro because she starts having visions and just hearing voices, and it's all very eerie and scary and just disturbing. So she goes to the nearest Catholic church and asks for the priest to bless the house because there's something there. And that's how she meets Padre Andres. He is one of the priests in that church, and he is actually a mestizo. He has indigenous heritage, and he used to live in the village by Hacienda San Isidro back when he was a child with his indigenous relatives, and he has some secrets of his own. This entire book is fantastic. The atmosphere is just chef's kiss, and Isabel Cañas just has such a way with words. She writes with such beautiful prose. Well, I shouldn't say that because it's not like it's this beautiful purple prose all of the time, but when it is, bitch, like the prologue of this book is just one of the most beautiful things that I've ever read. And I don't know if that's because it just hit me personally because of my experience with the Catholic Church and with the concept of God and faith and all that, which is something that the book explores too. And I just, I don't think I have the words to properly explain to you why this book means so much to me. The closest I'll probably ever get to it is what I did in my most recent video. So if you want to check that out, it's the only other video that I've done this year. So not hard to find. Gonna link it up above anyway. Go for it. The book is comped as Mexican Gothic meets Rebecca, and this is honestly the perfect description. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, check it out. And the third and last book that I have for this question is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I fucking adored this book. This is written as a transcript of interviews that the author of the book, like the fictional author within it, did with this band called Daisy Jones and the Six. This is a band, a fictional band again, that was super famous in the 70s, I believe, and it just broke up out of nowhere in the eyes of the public, of course, during a tour. So they did a show that was scheduled for the tour, and then boom, it just was no more. So this is a history of the band and a history of the members of the band and their relationships, as well as, you know, the history of why they broke up, how it happened, how it got to that point, and the reasoning of each of them for getting to that place, I guess. And I don't know if it's because I listened to it on audio. This is the audiobook. Yes, I have a physical audiobook. Don't ask. I love physical media. I'm sorry. I'll defend it until the day I die. And the audiobook is actually a full cast audiobook. And because this book is written as a transcript of interviews, that just works so well in an audiobook, in a full cast audiobook. I honestly don't know if I would have loved this book as much as I did if I had just read it with my eyes, you know? So the audiobook just makes it all seem so fucking real. it really feels like you're listening to interviews with actual members of an actual band, and it feels like all of those people are real and all of those bands and stuff are real too. It was just fantastic. I honestly could not recommend it more. I know that lots of people don't actually like this book that much. At least I remember that from when it came out. I do. I love it. The characters are all very fleshed out, very complex, very well written. They all feel like real people, you know? So they get to be quite unlikable at times. They do nasty stuff. And that's fine. It's fine. I love my characters great and making mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has those days. I don't know, it feels like this book was written for me in particular. Question number 2 is, what is the best sequel that you've read so far this year? Well, honestly, there's not much competition for this one because there's only one series that I read more than one book in this year, and it was the Mindfuck series by St. Abbey. I'm gonna talk more about this one later on in this list, so for now, just know this was the only series that I read. Questions number 3 and 4 I'm gonna kind of mash together because you'll see. So 3 is a new release that you haven't read yet but you want to, and 4 is most anticipated release for the second half of the year. For obvious reasons, we're in the second half of the year already. And honestly, I think that most of the answers that I had for question number 4 already came out. So we're just gonna mash them all together. Speed run of new releases that I want to read. Let's go. Court of the Undying Seasons by A.M. Strickland. The Adventures of Amina Al-Sirafi by Shannon Chakraborty. Yellowface by R.F. Kwang. Sorry Bro by Talin Voskoni, I think is how you say it, Voskoni. The Last Tale of the Flower Bride by Roshani Chokshi. Silver Nitrate by Silvia Moreno Garcia. Immortal Longings by Chloe Gong. Vampires of El Norte by Isabel Cañas. And The Phoenix King by Aparna Verna. There are probably more 2023 releases that I would like to read, but those are the ones that I had my eyes on. Now, number 5 is biggest disappointment, the Mindfuck series by St. Abbey. Y'all are full of shit, okay? You lied to me, because y'all made it seem like this book was just the best book in the world, the last Coca-Cola bottle in the desert. No, the fuck it isn't. The way I just answered that makes it seem like I'm way more invested in this than I am. I'm not. I just feel like a mother. I don't hate it. I'm just disappointed. Here's the thing. This series sounds like it's right up my alley, and in many ways it actually is. It's about a serial killer, a female serial killer, and the FBI agent who is trying to profile her. Well, he's trying to profile the killer of this case, which just so happens to be her, but he doesn't know that. So, you know, I was invested in this idea, and then I got to read it. I don't like the writing. I don't think it's terrible. I don't like it. And unfortunately, that's kind of a big deal for me. You know, because if I don't like the way something is written, I don't connect with it in the same way. My main complaints about it are that, one, that romance happens way too fucking fast. Like, it starts way too fucking fast and it gets too fucking serious way too fucking fast. And unfortunately, we're inside these characters' heads, and it just makes me sure that they don't actually love each other. And this is a romance series. So, like, they are both very much just in love with an idea of a person. And the guy, Logan is his name, he's very much interested in this not like gothic house girl. And he's always talking about like, oh my god, she's just the best in the world because she's not mad. I barely have time for her because of my job. And she's just so amazing in bed. And like, she makes me laugh sometimes. So I love her. And the female character, the serial killer, is always going on and on about how she didn't think she was capable of loving again, and now she loves him, and she would do anything for him. And mind you, they've known each other for like a month, tops. Stop it. Which, like, technically speaking, I wouldn't have a problem with the amount of time they've known each other if I actually got to see the relationship get to the level in that time, just in a way that made sense, you know? But the writing just, it didn't give that. It didn't give what it thinks it's giving. I do really fucking like the plot of it though, because Lana, the serial killer, she's got a reason to be killing people, and you get like snippets of it every now and then. That part of the story is, it's so fucking good, juicy. I love all of the ideas in the series. I really like the idea of the characters. I hate their inner monologue though. Like, I really fucking hate it. I'm sorry. And it's just, the writing just, we don't agree with each other. Let's put it that way. My other biggest disappointment was Knock at the Cabin by Paul Tremblay, I think. It's a disappointment because I had just recently read another book by this author, which is called A Head Full of Ghosts. And that one I thought was amazing. I gave it 4 or 5 stars, I'm not sure. So I went into this one expecting like a similar vibe, or at least like me feeling a similar way towards it. Didn't happen. I fucking hated it. Like, it made me mad. It wasn't just like a mindfuck series where I was reading it and every now and then I would just cringe, or I'd be like, oh, for fuck's sake. No, it made me mad. It's so fucking repetitive. Like, all of the time you have like this one character saying the same shit over and over again. First of all, I listened to it on audio. Definitely don't recommend that. Didn't like the narration at all. Lots of characters sounded like exactly the same. So I was listening to it and I had trouble knowing who the fuck was talking. And it also sounded like quite robotic too. Didn't work at all. I don't think I would have liked the book if I had read it with my own 2 eyes. But I would hate it a tiny bit less, I think, if we go from like 90% hating it to maybe 85% hating it. That's how percentages work, I think. It is way too fucking long. It is way too fucking repetitive. And the ending just sucks. I'm sorry, it sucks. And the book really tries to play with this notion of ambiguity, you know, you don't know. Let me tell you the summary first. This is about a gay couple that goes with their daughter to a cabin at the end of the world. It's a remote cabin and they're going there on vacation. There's no signal, I think. And they're just there to decompress and whatever. And then one day out of the blue, a guy shows up and starts talking to the little girl, to the daughter. And he's like, I'm really sorry for what's about to happen, but we need to do this to save the world from something. And from there, it's just a ton of shit. Like, those characters were tap dancing on my last nerve, I swear to God. Basically, the 2 dads had to choose someone to die, like one of them to die, and that would save the world from this apocalyptic event, and no one really is quite sure what's about. And the book tries to play with this notion of ambiguity, like, is this actually happening? Is this real, like the apocalyptic event? Or are these people just crazy? And it doesn't work. It doesn't work. I'm sorry. It's like the author thought that, you know, using ambiguity made books seem smart and deep and profound. It doesn't. It has to be well done. It wasn't well done here. Oh, it made me so fucking angry. Let's move forward, please. I'll actually link some reviews that put into us perfectly some of the stuff that I feel towards this book down below. So if you're interested in that, check them out. Number 6 is Biggest Surprise. I would say The Bush by Ashley Audrine. This is about a mother and a daughter. So from there, you already know that I will love it. I love complicated mother-daughter relationships. And it always hits a very sweet spot for me. The mother had this baby and had a very hard time connecting to it. And it's about their relationship going forward and just this hatred that the daughter seemed to have toward the mother. And it also talks about her mother and her grandmother and the way that they performed motherhood. It's just very complex and it's just very well written. And I really fucking loved it. It really reminds me of We Need to Talk About Kevin by Lionel Shriver. It's like that, but it's mother-daughter instead of mother-son. Really fucking good. Highly recommended. Took me completely by surprise. Another one that I was very taken aback by was I Have Some Questions for You by Rebecca Mackay. Rebecca Mackay, yes. This is about this woman who has a podcast about old Hollywood actresses. And she decides to go back to, can't remember if it was her school or her college, but she goes back to it. And a crime happened years and years ago when this woman was studying there. She goes back there because she's going to teach a class about, making podcasts and whatnot to a bunch of the students who are teenagers, I think. And one of those teenagers wants to do a podcast about a crime that happened years and years ago at that school at the time that the woman, the main character, was studying there. It was actually the murder of her roommate.
Oh my god, they were roommates.
But she wasn't really close with the girl. And through helping this kid with that podcast, she starts kind of investigating the murder a bit more and remembering things that happened back then and just, looking at those memories through a new lens that only age and experience could give to her. And she also has to be confronted with some of her actions and how her actions impacted other people's lives. And it's just so fucking good. I listened to it on audio. Fantastic. Really loved it. Highly recommend it. I actually read quite a few thrillers this year, which is very out of character for me. I was never a thriller book kind of person. I've been loving them. I don't know. Oh, also My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante. This is an Italian book. I'm gonna put the name of the translator to English somewhere in the screen because I don't actually remember it, sorry. This is the first book in I believe a 4-book series, and it's about these two women's friendship. Each of the books kind of chronicles one time of their lives together, and this first book is about their childhood and teenage years and whatnot. Again, complex female friendships just hit a sweet spot for me. I love reading books about that theme, and it was fantastic. And it's so fucking well written too. The prose is beautiful. I actually read another one with this kind of thematic in it. That was also really fucking good. Let me see. Oh yes, it's The Book of Goose by Yi Yoon Lee. The Book of Goose, the characters are actually younger even. Like they are kids. And these two girls are very close friends. They start writing stories together. And then one of them writes a book. And she wants the book published. But she doesn't want it on her name. So she makes the friend, who is the main character, sign it, basically. And she's seen as this huge prodigy and all that. And it wasn't her who wrote the book. Like, honestly, the synopsis that I gave for those two books, for all of the books really, but those two books specifically really don't do them justice. Okay? Please go read them. You won't regret it. If you do, I'm sorry, I guess. Number 7, new favorite author, and with the risk of sounding like a stereotypical white woman, Taylor Jenkins Reid. It is what it is. I read both Daisy Jones and the Six and the Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo earlier this year for the first time. very late to the party, as always. I loved those two books in ways that I can't really explain, which is a running theme for me. Just the way that she writes her characters really fascinates me, and I always love them in the sense that I am always really interested in learning more about them. And they actually seem like real people. Like Daisy Jones and the Six feels like a real band, and Evelyn Hugo feels like a real actress, a real old Hollywood actress. Like she's very much based on the likes of Elizabeth Taylor and Marilyn Monroe, and especially Rita Hayworth. Sorry, I have a bachelor in film. Finally, I got my bachelor's degree. In fact, I actually really want to reread Evelyn Hugo and just do a video dedicated to that, exploring like those movie things, just because that's like my area of expertise, I guess you could say. I wouldn't call myself an expert, but I do know some stuff. There are tons of books that I want to reread in order to make videos, you know, more like in an essay style. So if you would like to see that, let me know. And I just can't wait to read more books by Taylor Jenkins Reid, even though I haven't really heard the best stuff about her most recent couple of books. Gonna read them anyway. Number 8, newest fictional crush, Padre André. That's it. That man, I love him. He's sexy. I don't know if it's just like the dormant Catholicism inside me. Again, I was raised Catholic. I was just very Catholic, like worryingly so, concerning levels of Catholicism. So I don't know if it's just like that Catholicism. No, it isn't that. Because if me from today met me from years ago when I was still in church and said, I have the hugest crush on a priest, it wouldn't go out. I would just be thinking about how current me would go to hell, and how dare I have feelings for a priest. So no, it isn't that. Perhaps some you know, a rebellion to that. I don't know, something about my Catholicism just makes me love the priest characters and find them amazing and sexy. Or they're just written that way nowadays. Who knows? Not me. Am I going to investigate that? No. I'm just going to take it for what it is. Priest crushes. Fictional ones. Let's keep it moving, keep it moving. Newest favourite character? I would say Daisy Jones, actually. Okay, running the risk of sounding like a stereotypical white woman. Daisy Jones. I think she's a fantastic character. A very conflicted one, very complex, very well written, tons of flaws, makes tons of mistakes, but she feels so real to me and I love her. She also has amazing one-liners. That's my girl. Really just gives off the energy of the one scene in Mommy Dearest where she goes, "Don't fuck with me, fellas. This isn't my first time in the rodeo." Not radio, for fuck's sake. It was also just, you know, the way her addiction is portrayed and how she got over that and all that just really hit close to home to me for some reason. It made me a bit emotional. I don't know. I love her. That's it. That's the tweet. Number 10 is the book that made you cry. Again, On Earth, We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong. Talked about it already. Crying like a baby. Sobbed. I think I did cry at the end of Evelyn Hugo. If you know, you know. Now, weird now that I think about it, because I usually do cry a lot. Maybe it's because I've been reading lots of thrillers, and they're all very cry-worthy, usually. 11, book that made you happy. Killers of a Certain Age by Deanna Raybourn. This was just fun. If you don't like this book, you don't like fun. Sorry. It's about a bunch of middle-aged, I think, if I remember correctly, middle-aged female assassins who get together on this cruise trip. They're about to retire, or they have recently retired, one of the two. And then suddenly, someone from the agency tries to kill them in the cruise ship. So they have to, you know, defend themselves, keep themselves from dying, and just kind of investigate what the fuck is going on. So fucking fun. It is so fun. I highly recommend it. It's fantastic. And it's so unique too. Like, I don't think I've read anything quite like it before. Number 12, favorite book to movie adaptation that you've seen so far this year. And by book to movie, I mean like book to audiovisual products, media, movies, TV shows, etc. I wish I could say Daisy Jones and the Six. I really wish I could, but alas, I can't. I would be lying. I had tons of problems with that show. There's stuff that I really fucking loved. There are performances that I really fucking loved. There's also a ton of shit that I had a problem with and I really didn't like. I don't like what they did with Daisy's character, nor Riley Keough's fault at all. Like, her performance was fantastic. I just don't like what they did writing-wise with the character. I hate what they did to Karen too. Like, she's a completely different character in that show. I don't know, I had tons of problems with it. These two that I mentioned are only like at the surface level. So anyway, that was not my favorite adaptation. That's all I had to say. But you know what was my favorite adaptation? Interview with a Vampire. This is not only a fantastic adaptation in the sense that it really keeps like the essence of the story and the book intact, in the sense that like it really adapts the material to a new medium in a fantastic way. No, it actually improves the original, like, substantially. Like, don't get me wrong, Interview with the Vampire, the book is nice, I guess. Lots of problematic stuff there too. The whole trend of the Confederate vampire started there. Well, I don't actually know if it started there, but like, this is an early contestant. It's mostly about the conflicts of Louis, which I do like that, I do, but the series just made it so much better. And by choosing to, you know, have Louis be a black man and Claudia be a black girl, it just brought the entire thing to a whole other level and gave an entirely new meaning to the entire thing. The performances are also out of this world. So fucking amazing. Awesome. Also lots of, you know, whole people making out and whatnot. Let's go. It's really good. And the way that they incorporated the interview and the way they kind of updated the interviewer, you know, the character, it's really good. And it made the material entirely new and better. Please watch it. You won't regret it. Number 13 is favorite video that you made this year. There's not any competition, is it? There's only one. I guess it's my favorite. I don't know. Number 14 is the most beautiful book that you bought this year. I didn't buy lots of books this year, so let me think about them. I don't think any of them are ugly by any means. I think they're very beautiful and very pretty, but I don't think there's any especially beautiful ones. No, wait. I know. Just wait. Like, come on. Come the fuck on. These are special editions of A Game of Thrones, of A Song of Ice and Fire, the book series by George R.R. Martin. They are all leather bound, and even the fucking box is leather bound. Can you see the fucking leather texture in there? Bitch. I'm gonna get out just the first one so you can see. It feels like I'm holding a Bible in my hand. Like, they're so pretty. I love the leather texture. I love the look of it. I love the spines, obviously. The letters inside are a bit small, but they are readable. Like, I also love the fact that I can just open them up. No problem. It's leather, baby. Can you believe it? This is honestly like the best thing I bought in many years. I'm obsessed. And finally, number 15, which is the last question. What books do you need to read by the end of the year? I feel like this question is cursed for me. Like all of the previous years where I got to do this tag, when I got to this question, I don't think that I've read a single book out of the bunch that I cited here. Like, not Not a single one. I'm pretty sure, actually. Maybe that's because I usually answer like a bunch of books here, because I feel like I have to read them all now, which makes me not read any of them at all. ADHD, baby. So I'm gonna cite 2 books. One of them I am sure that I'm gonna read by the end of the year. The other one I really want to. If I get to it, I'll feel accomplished and I'll be very happy. I think I'm gonna be able to do it. I'm not sure. So the one that I am sure I'm gonna read is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Susan Collins. No, I haven't read it yet. Shocking, I know, considering that Hunger Games is my favorite book series of all time. I was scared. And also it felt like something that I had to do. So because of that, I just kept like procrastinating actually doing it. I'm gonna do it now because the movie's coming out. I'm not gonna watch it without reading the book first. All the people in my circle who actually got to read it hate it with like the fire of 1,000 suns. I think I'm gonna disagree with them a lot. And the criticisms that I did see, because like I avoided everything about this book. I didn't want to know anything else about it before reading it. And I was actually very good at avoiding everything. But some things slipped through the cracks, and some of the criticism that I had, not from my friends, because I haven't watched their videos on it yet, the criticisms that slipped through the cracks just sound very stupid to me. I'm sorry. It sounds very, very fucking stupid. So fingers crossed that I'm gonna read it and completely disagree with it, with the criticism, and no, come back here to do a video about that. And to think that this was my most anticipated read of the year it came out. I think it was 2020. It's been sitting on my shelves all this time. I'm gonna read it now. There's nothing in this earth that can keep me from it. Like, I have a video on this channel that is a bingo of things that I think are gonna happen in this book, and I haven't read it yet. Maybe it will be fun to read the book and have the bingo card with me to see if the things are actually gonna happen. Oh my god, I hadn't thought about it before. That sounds like fun. I do think like 70% of my predictions are gonna be true. Maybe I'm just too confident in myself. And the other book that I really want to read by the end of the year is Sea Sparrow by Kristen Cashore, which is the newest book in another one of my most favorite series of all time, which is the young adult series Graceling. It's so good. And Sea Sparrow is the newest one. The one that came before it came out in 2020, I think, and I fucking loved it. It was fantastic. Something happened in it that I've been waiting for since the third book had been published. Thank you, God. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Kristen Cashore, actually. So yeah, it came out a couple of years ago, I think, or maybe last year, and I haven't read it yet. And I really want to, and I really have to. Let's go. It is quite long though, so maybe that is why I've been postponing it, procrastinating it for forever. But I'm gonna get to it sooner rather than later, I'm telling you. Anyways, that is the tag. That is the mid-year book freakout tag. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was all over the place. I'm still like trying to get in the groove of it. Yeah, I'm just kind of still trying to grasp again how this entire thing works and how to make my mouth do the English sounds. Haven't used that in a long time, not consistently at least. So we're gonna get to it. We're gonna get to it. You and me together. Let's see if I still remember the outro that I do in this channel. Thank you for watching. No, that's not how it goes. Thank you so much for watching this video. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you feel like it. And as always, I'll see you around. Did it. Yes.